Welcome to Guardians of Democracy. I'm Vanessa, and today we're diving deep into some critical issues that affect the very foundations of our democratic freedoms. We'll explore Project 2025 and its authoritarian vision, uncover Elon Musk's ties to influential figures, and examine the disturbing connections that threaten our political stability. Along the way, we'll revisit some powerful lessons from history that are more relevant today than ever. Let's dive in. Let's start with Project 2025, a plan with sweeping implications. Digital Warriors analysis tells us that Project 2025 is much more than just policy proposals. It's a blueprint for dismantling protections in healthcare, education, and environmental safety. See the plan, backed by powerful figures, aims to strip essential services from everyday people and hand power to the wealthiest elites. Simsala makes a striking comparison here, likening Project 2025's methods to the early days of Nazi Germany. Just as authoritarian regimes historically sought to concentrate power by undermining public trust, Project 2025 threatens to normalize extremist views and push the boundaries of acceptable governance. Dr. Nafiz Ahmed further explains that Project 2025 isn't just about internal changes. It aligns with a global authoritarian movement supported by wealthy elites and fossil fuel interests, aimed at reshaping democratic institutions both in the US and abroad. So why does this matter? Project 2025 isn't just political, it's about redefining who holds power and how that power is used against the public good. Recognizing these warning signs helps us understand what's at stake and why staying vigilant is essential. Now, let's talk about a figure who has his hands in everything from tech to international politics, Elon Musk. Dave Troy highlights that Musk's connections to figures like Peter Thiel and Vladimir Putin aren't coincidental. They're part of a calculated effort to destabilize the US and the EU, with Musk using his influence across tech and social media to advance these agendas. Building on this, Pekka Kallioniemi points out that Musk's alignment with Kremlin interests might not be purely ideological. There's a financial motive, too. Musk's shifting global alliances suggest a move toward partnerships that could counterbalance Western influence, particularly positioning Russia over China. Meanwhile, Miss Maria T. critiques Musk's public stance, showing a gap between his advocacy for free speech and his actual alliances, which seem to benefit only the most powerful, even at the expense of democratic principles. This matters because Musk isn't just a tech mogul. He's a global actor whose influence shapes not only the tech industry, but also international policies that affect all of us. His actions highlight the powerful intersections of wealth, technology, and politics, and what that means for the future of democracy. Next, let's look at some unsettling patterns in political manipulation. According to Dave Troy, there's a long history of alliances between Trump, Musk, and other powerful players forged over decades to undermine democratic governance. These aren't new connections. They're deeply rooted in plans to reshape US politics. This theme isn't limited to the US. Tomas Zaman explores similar alliances in Europe, where far-right groups are aligning with the Kremlin. This influence plays out through nationalist and extremist groups that challenge regional security and stability, making Europe a testing ground for tactics that could easily spill over to the US. Finally, Jenny Cohn brings this closer to home, describing serious election security issues in Centre County, Pennsylvania, from bomb threats at election offices to ballot scanning problems. She emphasizes the need for accountability and transparency to protect the democratic process. All these points underscore a clear theme: democracy is under siege. These manipulations aren't just isolated, they're part of a larger effort to destabilize democratic norms. Whether through international alliances or direct interference, these threats are reminders of how essential it is to protect our institutions. Finally, let's take a step back and look at what history has to teach us. David Pepper draws a powerful parallel to FDR's era, when economic power was concentrated in the hands of a few. FDR warned of the dangers posed by these economic royalists, who sought to control government policy to benefit their interests. Today, that same concentration of wealth and influence threatens to dominate our political landscape. Pepper also warns of a broader anti-science movement seen in figures like RFK Jr., whose influence in public health decisions disregards expertise and endangers welfare. This anti-expertise sentiment is a critical part of Project 2025, reflecting a clear shift away from informed, evidence-based policymaking and toward ideological control. So why revisit this history? FDR's words remind us that authoritarianism isn't new. It takes root when the public is disengaged or misinformed. Looking back helps us see that while history doesn't repeat itself exactly, it does provide clues for how to recognize and resist these same authoritarian strategies today. Thank you for joining me in exploring these critical issues. We've covered everything from Project 2025's authoritarian agenda to the hidden influences of billionaires like Elon Musk, and we've looked back at history for lessons on vigilance. The path forward requires all of us to stay informed, stay engaged, and protect the principles of democracy. Together, we can keep our society open and fair. Until next time, stay strong, stay watchful, and remember, our democracy is worth defending. See you next time on Guardians of Democracy.